I'm Matt Steiny, the Guru Johnson with you, and we're joined by Mark Willard and Dan Dibley. It's the crossover.
The fellas.
Gotta tell you, today was just a very jarring start to the day. To pick my phone up and look at it and see a text message from Matt Steinmetz. Not a group text.
Wait, what?
A text from Matt Steinmetz to me. That's it. 1-to-1. I was like, is somebody in the hospital? Man. It was like when your phone rings at 3 a.m. and you're like, I'm not answering this.
Do we have a timestamp?
Oh, my God. I was like, wait a minute. What am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me pull it up. 9:43 in the morning.
Oh, that's before.
Yes. Well, right. But I'm like, oh, my God. Does he need someone to fill in for him? Do I need to head to the station right now? I was honored. Didn't matter what it said.
Right.
Actually let it sit for a second just so that I could, soak in.
I'm not even curious one bit what that said.
Well.
Till you leave and I hack into your phone.
I do read it. You guys want to know what it said? Or just I didn't care what it said. I was just like, wow.
I want to live in mystery.
Let it marinate.
I want to live in the land of mystery because it's probably something so innocuous like, hey, Mark, where do you get your hats?
What do you think it's about?
It's at 9:43. It's probably about the show.
Well, correct.
It's probably about the crossover.
No.
It's
what
hey, Mark, I got a dip today at 2 o'clock because I got a haircut.
No, of all the things I would say, hey, Willard, I've been thinking about something, da-da-da-da-da, you're the guy I'm running it by.
Huh. Maybe having no, you got 3 kids, he's got 3. Having a career as an educator?
More like, it's a gambling type of a thing.
What app do you use? What's your service?
Now,
What's your app?
The apps. Yeah, we're giving them the apps.
I just wanted to see if, go ahead.
All right.
No.
He says, it feels unusual that the 49ers, who right now don't own the number 1 seed in the NFC, to be such favorites to win the Super Bowl over an entire field that includes 5 other teams that are either 9-3 or 10-2. You must be right. Vegas or whoever thinks this team is better than every other team and not by a little. Yeah. It's a reference to the odds maker conversation that we had late last week.
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah. And that, right. Yeah, you guys kind of... You came out with it, and I was listening to that portion. And it's an interesting sort of a thought.
Like there's just it's the same thing with Kyle Shanahan. I'd love to sit down with him for 30 minutes and just talk to him about scripted plays, the scripting, because I have a million questions about it. How rigid is it? When do they scratch?
Wow.
They black off?
Especially in a game like this one. The script was apparently what didn't work.
Right, exactly.
Walked out there and your first 6 plays went backwards.
Exactly. So my first question is, so you're telling me they're the Super Bowl favorites, even though there's an expectation that they will not have the bye or home field throughout the NFC? Or do you think that's part of it, that we think after 5 games, the 49ers will have the number 1 seed? That's why they're our favorite.
I told him they think they don't need it. That's how good
I think that's part of it.
Okay.
I think that's the majority of it.
I think it's also maybe a little too early to assume who's going to get what seed. Vegas thinks the Cowboys are going to beat the Eagles this weekend.
Okay.
And if they do, the Niners control their own destiny for the 1 seed.
Right.
So there's that aspect. That's a long way to go. There's still a lot of football to be played. There's still 5 more games. That's a ton. So, maybe that all factors into it, but I would guess this. Remember what he said, and for those of you who don't know what we're referring to, last week before the game, I had a buddy who's an odds maker, and I said, why? Why are they favored by 3? And he goes, they're just better on both sides of the ball. But the first little sentence he wrote was, it's about power rating. Now, when we hear power rating, we think, Yahoo released their power ratings. In Vegas, that's a very different thing. That is each position group, offense, defense, all the way down to specific matchups, has power ratings based on all of the data that they have, and it goes way beyond talent. And so what I think he's getting at is the 49ers, when you put them up against these other teams in terms of power rating, their record may be the same, but they're not the same. And by the way, look at when they've played these teams, since Brock Purdy took over. In fact, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary.
Yeah.
He played the Dolphins. he blew them out. He blew out the Cowboys. He blew out the Eagles.
89-14.
He blew out the Jags. He has not played the Chiefs as of yet. He has not played the Lions as of yet. But these teams, when he plays, the Niners don't just win; they win by a ton. So, I guess that's it.
When I say it seems unusual, maybe it's not unusual at all.
No,
I just have
is.
never paid attention to it before.
I think it is. I don't think that with 5 weeks to go and a bunch of teams having a similar record, we usually have someone that everyone clearly believes is the standout.
Well, and here's my thing too, is if these teams didn't have any name, the Eagles, the 49ers, or city affiliations, and I saw that right now, I would be like, well, I'll bet on the 1 seed in the NFC right now. Why? Well, because right now they're more likely to have home field, but that other team's better. I don't even care.
Yeah.
They probably are. Or
The
maybe
1 seed.
you know what I mean? Yeah, the 1.
Did you look that up last week? Like, what's the percentage of a 1 seed getting to the Super Bowl?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Mark,
Oh,
because
thanks,
I, in fact, looked it up yesterday as it pertains to the 3 years in which only one team gets a bye in the NFL playoffs. This will be year 4 of that.
I hate that 2 teams don't get it. But
In the
right.
previous 3 years that we've had this system, how many of the 6 1 seeds do you think made the Super Bowl?
I'm saying 4.
Last year, we know it was 2 last year.
Yeah.
Automatic 2 last year.
I'm going Brett Favre.
Damn, might be 5.
I like 4. Didn't the Packers had it and the Niners
Can I
beat
get
them?
3 buzzers from the back?
No,
there you go.
Hufanga. That was the 1 seed? No?
You said 4, right?
Yep, I did.
No, I'm going to say 5.
Can I get 3 buzzers from the
Is it
congregation?
3?
I'm going to give you a McEnroe. Answer the question soon.
After my 3 buzzers, that's 1 for you, and you get a buzzer, and you get a buzzer.
under my
The
seat?
answer is 3. Yeah,
Wow,
2 last
only
year,
half.
and the year before, I think none, and then Green Bay has been the 1 seed twice in the 3 years.
The Rams didn't.
Tampa made it, and they were not a 1
They
seed.
were not.
Oh, and the Niners, didn't the Niners?
The Rams, right? And they made it. Was that the 3rd? Last year's 2 and the Rams?
Were the Rams the 1 that year?
I can't remember.
When
they
the
had the
Niners-
Niners at home. I know the
Yeah, I
Niners
didn't
were on
The
the road.
Niners must have been the team.
I wrote
They
it
were
down and
13
threw it.
3,
I could go through the
thought, that
trash,
year.
but
But the Bengals made it and they weren't.
Right.
And then there was the year that the Niners beat the Packers. Oh wait, no, that was the Rams year.
right.
Same year.
Exactly.
So the Packers were the one. So it wasn't the Rams.
I think when the Buccaneers they beat the Chiefs, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
just
The
mantled.
Chiefs were the
Chiefs must have been the one.
yeah.
You're right.
Rams
There it is.
Rams were indeed the 2 seed.
So
Yeah.
seed.
So 3 of the
half the
6.
teams. Half
Yes.
the teams make it.
Correct.
Half the ones
Which
make
is-
it.
Or just most of the ones not named Mahomes don't.
Yeah,
But
true.
if you go back to the era in which the top 2 get buys, the percentage of those teams that make it is higher than 50%. So
because you're throwing in the 2 seed, or
yes,
okay,
you're throwing in the 2 seed.
Yeah,
So
and then you get the 2 best teams, not just the bye,
Correct.
but you're also,
there is
Okay.
an advantage to getting the buy, but what we've seen in a small sample is that it's not an absolute slam dunk that you're going to go ahead and get all the way there.
no, but it's nice.
There's 1 less game.
It is.
It's
It is.
nice.
I don't think this is breaking any news, but we said this I wondered it out loud before the Eagles game. Now we know for sure. There is not a game in the NFL right now in which the Niners would not be favored.
Well, right now,
Yes.
So then
Well,
that's the other question
but
I
that's
have.
all we got.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But let's say the Niners, because I think health now is part of all this,
For
right?
sure.
So
For everyone,
let's
yeah.
just say that the Niners they get beat by Baltimore on Christmas
Okay.
Day. Like what I'm just starting to realize with it, then they might be the runner-up to win the Super Bowl at that point.
According to the odds makers.
Yes.
Like
they
it
might.
changes.
They might.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it depends on how that loss would
Looks.
transpire, how it looks. Because right now, they're 9-3. They could easily be 10-2 if their kicker made a kick. Philly could be 9-3 if their kicker didn't make a kick. So I think when you look at records a lot of times, I think it gets away from what the power ratings would tell you in terms of overall football.
If Moody makes the kick in Cleveland,
Yeah.
are the 49ers any different of a favorite than right now, which is plus 325?
They'd
do you
be
think?
even bigger favorites.
I don't
Really?
think, I don't
Yes.
think so.
Yes,
I don't
because
think so.
because they would currently be in the 1 seed, and they wouldn't
That's
need
true.
they wouldn't need Philadelphia to do anything. It would already already be in their hands.
Yeah. I think that with that number, though, 325 is still tantalizing enough to a Niner fan to want to bet it. If you get it down to minus 200, now or plus 200, you're laying 100 to get 200. That doesn't feel as bettable.
But still plus.
It is plus.
Norm Johnson has 2 tickets. Niners to win the Super Bowl and
what,
NFC.
When plus 800?
Plus 180 for the NFC.
Okay.
And then plus, I want to say 320 for the Super Bowl.
So he just made this
when
bet.
Steiny and I went to Vegas, he said, son, I said, you need to
That's like a month ago he made that bet.
Yeah.
They were plus 325 a month ago?
For the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Maybe when they were 5-0.
No, the Niners today are plus 325.
No, I'm talking about the ticket I got for Norm when UI and your daughter went to Vegas. I think it's plus 320.
Yeah. When did you go? What was their record? Was this before their 3-game losing streak?
Way before.
Okay, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then
This was
makes sense.
preseason.
Yeah.
This was preseason.
No, but preseason.
Yeah,
remember,
I was there preseason.
But they were just in a bucket. Preseason, it was the Niners, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Bengals.
I want to say
and the Bills. And all 5 of them were relatively close.
I want to see what the number was after they lost their third game.
Okay.
So, what were they the day after they lost to the Bengals?
I'll consult the Jimmy Shapiro email. Yeah. Jimmy Shapiro, he sends us all the same email.
Do you know it's Shapiro?
Of course, I've
as
met the
opposed
man.
to Shapiro.
He's the reason why I was able to book Joe Montana and Jim Brown, rest in peace, on a previous show on a previous station. No, Jim Brown is no longer with us. Gotcha. And Jimmy Shapiro got me Jim Brown, an exclusive booking at the Super Bowl. Now I had to eat 2 other guests that no one would ever want to hear from, but that's just the cost of doing business when you're booking.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit.
When was I got all the Shapiro stuff. When did the Niners have their 3-game losing streak? What was the date?
Well,
so it would have been what? Five
months ago. Weeks,
So 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's
or
December 5th, so right around November 1st.
I'll allow it.
Somewhere in there?
Yeah.
All right, let me see what I can find. Let me see what I can find.
I love it. You're
Donnie,
pouring over your Shapiro.
For you, but it might.
Here we go. Here we got on Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Close enough.
The 49ers on Halloween were the third favorite at 11-2.
Yeah, but plus 550.
Plus 550.
At 5-3. They are
coming off a skid.
Well, were they 5-3 by then? That was on Halloween. So did they have? Now I got to look at that.
Who's on first?
Yeah, exactly. In the Niners schedule, they lost. Yes, that is literally coming out of the Cincinnati loss. Yeah. So people still believe in
exactly.
It. Yep,
that's my point.
Yep.
Okay,
Vegas knows.
Like you last year. This is how I remember, Stoney. I know I'm gonna confuse it right here with the NBA, but you said, Guru, the Miami Heat went to the finals and were in that cockamamie play-in tournament. The Lakers went to the Western Conference Finals. You knew in your gut that they were better than where they were slotted at. And I feel like that applies to the NFL and the odds makers to where Dibs, they can say, okay, you got 2-game better lead on us, but on any given day, the Niners have more talent and are better.
Yeah.
And that's why they're favored in the building where the team had 2-game. It applies to us.
It does, but you also need to build in a certain amount of popularity margin in how you set the number. Because if the Lions were this good, I don't think the Lions would be this overwhelming of a favorite because there aren't as many Lions backers or Lions faithful yet. If you're dealing with the 49ers, I do think you have to build in a certain amount of cushion knowing that people are going to want to wager on them regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the part I don't get either.
It's a money game.
Who was saying that we had a caller today that said the Cowboys and the 49ers are the 2 teams bet more than any other teams. That's just the way it is.
Right.
So he was saying
they're the favorites.
Brands and like girth of their fan base. Right?
But wait a minute, is that this year or over?
In general, yeah. Overwhelmingly. And it used to be it used to be more dramatic before the online gambling because so many people had access. So many Niner fans had access to Tahoe, Reno, Vegas, and Laughlin to where you could just go across the border and make these bets. But now it's born out of popularity because by and large, football fans are either fans of their team, fantasy football fans, or gamblers or all of the above, like pretty much everyone in this room. So when it comes to betting, a lot of times you want to bet on your team. The Niners and Cowboys are both very popular teams. They have a lot of fans, so they get bet on a lot.
So we had a friend of the program, and I need help here. Mike called in, and his theory on how the line is set, and I'm going to go Simple Simon here because I bet like a professional. I don't have professional results, but there's never a day, Willard and Dibs, to where I told Steiny this on air, to where I make a bet and not think the home team and better team, that's 98% of the spread. Like, you're never going to – and Mike called in and said that, to kind of paraphrase, that's kind of not what it's based on. And I wasn't feeling that. Like, there's no – it's how good the team is and where the game is played.
I think a bigger piece, or a piece that's as big, is how can they balance the action. So, for example, the Niners in Seattle this Sunday.
12.
The Niners are probably 17 to 20 points better, but you want to make sure you put the number in a spot to where you can draw equal action. The Niners, if you look at power ratings and all the rest of it, they should win this game 31-14.
So you're saying the line should be more than 12.
But they can't put it there because they want Niner action. They need that Niner action.
Everyone keeps saying 12. The app I use has still got them at 10.5. Should I bet it?
I'm just saying,
this really fast?
it's not the difference between a field goal and 3 touchdowns.
No, that's big, though.
By the way, I just pulled up NFL ATS.
Records.
Okay. Yep. The spread.
Against the spread. Very good. You speak gambling. Who do you think is the number 1 team in the NFL this year? ATS.
The Niners got that 3-game losing streak. It's not them. I'm going to say the Ravens.
I think it's the Eagles.
Damn it.
Gosh, both
I'd say it's the Niners.
Those are first of all, very good guesses. Steiny, by mere percentage points you win. The Eagles are number 1 at 70% because they have 2 ties. They're 7-3-2.
Against the spread.
That is number 1 in the NFL this year. The Ravens, among the group, tied for second at 8-4. The Niners, though, eyebrows up, 7-5. By my memory, yes, Sean McVegas stole one from them. So that's the 4th loss, along with their 3 losses.
There it is.
What's the 5th one?
No, it's the one where somebody said they didn't cover because they were getting 15. Or
was it the Bucs game?
Was it Tennessee
or
Jacksonville?
They didn't cover against Tampa.
They did the number that I bet it at because I bet that game. They won by 13, and I think I bet them at like 11.5. But maybe by kickoff it was 13.5. Maybe it must be that game.
Yeah, it was the Arizona game.
No, they won by 19.
Spread was 22.
They won by 14.
No, that was Tampa. They won by 13.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. That's That's the one.
27.
So they got 5 non-covers for the Niners.
I mean, that's absurd. You beat everybody by double digits, and you're still only 7.
Well, and that's why I picked the Eagles, just because I knew they had a brutal stretch recently, and if like that, I'm sure they covered against the Bills in that overtime game.
No, they didn't.
No, they did. They did.
Yeah.
That one went off at 2.5. That one went off, or it was a push. The Eagles were and that was something.
So they certainly covered at Kansas City.
By the way, though, that was a message in my eyes prior to the Niner game, but before the Bills went roughshod over the Eagles and lost in overtime. I'm going, how are you? Because at that point, the Eagles are 9-1, and the Bills have been a dumpster fire of a problem this year. A 500 team. Allen's throwing picks everywhere. They're on the road at Philly. And the Eagles don't even get the requisite 3.
Yeah.
They're favored only by 2.5. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I think that speaks to the, as you just pointed out, Dibs, the power rating that odds makers use, because they looked at that Bills-Eagles game and said, this is essentially, it's almost like a pick'em. It's almost like a pick'em, even though the Eagles' record is like 5 games better.
What's Buffalo against the spread if you still have it up? Because Buffalo has been the ultimate puzzle this year. I mean, the Chargers have been puzzling, but you're not that stunned because they're as bad as they tend to always be. They do smoke games. Buffalo's got to be like 3-8 against the line.
By the way, confirmed that it was the Tampa game. It closed at 13.5. If you got it early enough. But Buffalo is only better than 3 teams
against
in the
whole spread,
league.
yeah.
They are 4-8 this year. ATS only Carolina, New Orleans, and anyone want to venture against
the Raiders?
No. Nope. The Raiders
This is a team
actually
that's
about 500.
bad against the spread.
Think of a team that has a big brand reputation, but they stink.
Packers.
No.
Oh, the Giants.
No.
Steelers.
No.
Cowboys.
Jets.
No.
Cowboys.
Hello. Have you watched football the last 23 years?
Who's he talking about?
23 years.
The last
Bengals.
23 years. Who's won the
Steelers?
most? Who's won the most?
Patriots.
Thank you.
God, I forgot they were in the NFL.
I feel good about getting this.
Seriously. Seriously, I kind of forgot
Well,
about that.
Patriots are 2-10.
Good God.
Against the spread. You
They
make a
didn't
whole
score
lot
this
of money
past weekend.
just betting against them all year long.
Yeah.
And they play for our enjoyment.
Any
in
old
48
Ohtani
hours.
odds on there?
Oh, I'd have
What's
to look
up with
that
him?
up. Now, according to sources,
Yeah.
we're down to 4. Now, I don't buy it because I don't think anybody knows a damn thing about Ohtani. But if you listen to those
Yeah.
who like to
We've done it before.
tweet about Arson Judge and stuff like that, the Cubs sort of fell out of the Derby today, and that leaves the Dodgers, the Angels, the Blue Jays, and the Giants.
And I hate that Angels are still on there. I thought he
think-
wanted to get out of town fast.
I think that's a
leverage play.
okay.
I think that's a
I'll
nod
throw you a
of
bone.
respect.
Okay.
It's a nod of respect for who they've been. But if anybody's going to surprise us, it's this dude. He'd go to Tampa.
Do you think we're going to get an answer this soon?
I think
I
we're
thought
gonna-
he would milk this.
Oh, well, I would bet this is 10 days or less.
Oh, my goodness.
You got to understand I think that to a degree, and agents are all working together and have multiple clients, a little bit of a responsibility when you're the lead dog.
So what was Dave
Because
Roberts
nobody-
doing saying we met with
I
them?
don't know.
When there's, I don't know
Maybe
if
he
you saw
knows
it.
they've already got him or something.
Ohtani
I
didn't
don't
want
know.
it being talked about.
I don't know. But right, when you're the lead dog, you got to go at some point because nobody else is going to – teams are not going to move to their plan B, plan C until they know where Shohei's going.
Giants
So, I
sure
think
do need him.
We're getting close.
You got
We're getting
the head coach of the Warriors today, or is that Thursday?
We're going to do
That'll
that
be Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Peter King in 20 minutes.
All right.
Peter
All right, you
King.
guys.
Early King.
That's right.
Have a good one. On
Burger
95.7 The Game.